Hello everybody, welcome to Savage Ink Studios. I'm your host Ink, and today's sketchbook story time is for the crazy freaking vegan that I keep running into at the bus stop. So, when I get out of work, I hit my bus stop, and it drops me off a few blocks from home. So, the other day, I get out of work, and I go to the bus, and there's this chick chilling there, waiting for the bus. And I recognize her, I've seen her around. I've seen her at the last couple of jobs that I've worked, just like in passing with her as a customer. And she starts with the crazy vegan thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. Where she just starts talking and introduces herself as a vegan and asks if I'm vegan. And I'm like, no, I like meat. And she's like, oh, well, that's really bad for your health. It's scientifically proven that meat is bad for you, except for fish because they're not sentient. It's scientifically proven that meat is bad for you, except for fish, because they're not sentient. So, first and foremost, off the bat, this chick is trying to tell me that it's scientifically proven that meat is bad for you because it comes from something that's sentient, and also that fish don't count because they're not. Which off the bat for me is like, alright lady, you're kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but okay. And the scary thing is, a lot of the time you can tell, like, the crazy vegan type just by looking at them. This girl doesn't look like that. Like, I literally would have never guessed that she was one of those crazy vegan people. And, yeah, so she's talking, and I'm just trying to, like, be nice, because I know that she, like, comes into my places of employment and, don't want to risk her getting pissy and trying to, like, lose me my job, So, that was the first part of it, where it was just like, oh, you're basically a bad person because you eat meat and it's super unhealthy and judgy, like, I don't really care if you're a vegan, that's cool, do you, but if you're gonna go out and like, try and make me feel like I'm a bad person because I like steak, well then just, fuck you. So, yeah, and then she goes on to say the whole, oh, well, I mean, would you kill an animal yourself? If you're willing to do it yourself, then, I guess that's whatever, if that's the meat that you're eating. And I told her, I'm like, well, I don't have a problem with hunting. I got brought hunting for the first time when I was 4 years old. Right then and there, shot it and was there for the shooting of a deer, was taught how to gut a deer, how to string it up, and then ate the meat. Yes, so I'm completely capable and have shot and killed my own meat and gutted it and skinned it and chopped it up. So, I guess that means that's good, right? That I'm a good meat eater because I'm totally capable of making my own food. And she's like, oh no, well, if you buy any meat from the grocery store, then that doesn't count because what they do is terrible. Yeah. A lot of farming situations, like, God knows, if you've ever driven past a Tyson chicken place, they actually tell you that you have to roll up your windows and don't turn on your air conditioning because the smell is so horrible that it'll like seep into your car and never come out. I totally agree that a lot of the farming shit that they do for our food is awful. I also respect the whole kind of like circle of life thing and recognize the fact that me not buying a steak off the shelf isn't going to take down the beef industry or the chicken industry, or any of that crap. It just means that that one particular slice of meat might not get bought, and will probably go bad, and then what'd the animal die for anyway? Anyway, this video is not to, argue the, morality of vegans versus carnivores, This is just to talk about this crazy freaking vegan lady that I keep running into at the bus stop. So, yeah, that was day one, where I'm a bad person because I eat meat, blah, blah, blah. Meat's bad for you because you're eating souls or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Moving on to day two. The second time that I went to the bus and I see this chick and I'm just like, oh, great. So I go to sit down and, she immediately turns and starts talking to me and I'm just like, oh, great. And she ends up saying something about, pets or whatever? And I'm just like, yeah, I've got a snake and whatever. She's like, oh, you better be careful. You're going to get salmonella. And I'm just like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And I told her, I'm like, okay, so salmonella isn't just something that snakes inherently have that you're going to catch if you touch a snake. It doesn't work like that. Salmonella is like a bacterial virus or whatever that comes from the inner intestines, and you get it by like being in contact with fecal matter. So it's actually more likely for you to get it from like a cat's paws because they dig through their crap than just from picking up a snake. Because as a person who's run an exotic animal rescue that was supposed to be purely reptiles, mostly snakes, I've literally had hundreds of snakes in my time, and I have not had a single one that enjoys slithering through its own poop. The snake that I have now, my giant beastie, if she takes a poop, she will hide on the other side of her enclosure until it's taken care of because she wants to stay as far away from it as possible. They're not dumb and they're not dirty. And she starts like running her mouth off about, oh, you're wrong, snakes all have salmonella. If you touch a snake, you're going to get salmonella. And I'm sitting here like, well, damn, salmonella must be a lot easier going than I've heard that it is, because I've been handling snakes for years, so many of them, for so many years. But whatever. And she's like, you don't know how to do your research, and if you try to look something up, you're gonna find at least one place where it says exactly what you want. And I'm sitting here thinking, you don't say. And she's like, I know what I'm talking about. And at this point, I'm getting like a little aggravated, and I'm just like, yeah, actually, I taught people. I went to schools and educated people on exotic animals, more specifically reptiles, for a living for years. So I know what I'm talking about too. Thank you. And me being like slightly irritated at this point, because I really don't like people spreading misinformation about reptiles, because I'm super passionate about them, and people thinking that they're gross and dirty and all venomous and all dangerous and all going to give you salmonella are all, things that I try to like teach people. Like that's not the case. You are not automatically gonna get bitten and die, or automatically going to get salmonella anytime that you touch a snake. That's not how that works. And the spreading of misinformation genuinely bothers me, because I think that the reason that most people are afraid of snakes is just a lack of education, and people spreading wrong information, spreading fear, bothers me a lot. And that's not all, you guys. So we get off the bus, and she happens to apparently live just past me or something, because she has to basically follow me all the way home and then keep going for her to get home. So she's walking home with me, and she asks me where I work, right? And I tell her, insert large coffee franchise here. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, why? I love my job. And she's like, really? Every person that I've ever met who's worked at insert large coffee franchise here has said that they hate it. And I was like, no, the tips aren't what they used to be, but I love my job. And she's like, oh, I never tip when I go to coffee places. You guys don't do anything. You don't deserve it. And I kind of just stared at her like, are you seriously? And she's like, what? You don't get it? Like, you're not a waitress, you're not a cook, you're not running your butt off or anything. I mean, it's a really easy job. You guys totally don't deserve tips. And I'm just continuing to be silent right now, because I am not about to get into this with this person right now, because I'm actually starting to get really aggravated, And then she goes on to ask me, well, how much money do you make? I'm like, not that it's like totally any of your business or anything, but I make fast food minimum wage. And she's like, see, that's bullshit. I know people who work 5 times as hard as you do, and they work regular minimum wage, and you definitely don't deserve that much money. And I'm just like blown away right now. Like, are you serious? And I told her, I'm like, you're right, it's not construction work. We don't deserve $22 an hour. I mean, everyone kind of deserves a living wage, which minimum wage is not. And I definitely think that there are people out there who should be making more, but I don't think that it's fair to say that we don't deserve the money that we're making. And she's like, well, you don't, because you don't do anything. And at this point, I just kind of like, okay, and just crossed the street and went home. And I've been like actively avoiding the bus as much as I can. Like, I will stare out my window and at work because I can see the bus stop from my job. And if I see this girl sitting at the bus stop, I will wait for the next bus because I am just so beyond done with this crazy fucking vegan chick at the bus stop. So yeah, this video is for her. Alright guys, you know the drill. Check out this awesome fan art by these awesome artists because they are awesome. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you know where to put them. Please check out my merch shop, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.